Hey there, brilliant educators. Welcome back to Schoolutions Teaching Strategies Summer Series. Let me ask you something that might hit a little too close to home. How many times have you given a quiz, spent your entire weekend grading it, handed it back on Monday, and then realized with that sinking feeling that half of your students missed the exact same concept? And by then, you've already moved on to new material, so that learning gap just got bigger and bigger. Yeah, I see those knowing nods, and we've all been there, haven't we? Here's the thing, traditional quizzes aren't evil, but they're like taking a snapshot when what we really need is a live video. Too often, information becomes void and the moment's already passed. But what if I told you that there are ways to check the pulse of learning in real time? What if you could catch misconceptions the moment they happen? What if you could celebrate understanding as it develops and adjust your teaching on the spot to keep every single student moving forward? That's the magic of innovative formative assessment strategies, and they go way beyond the traditional quiz. I'm talking about techniques that take 30 seconds or less, but give you powerful data, digital tools that can make assessments engaging rather than stressful, and peer assessment strategies that turn your students into learning partners. Today, I am diving into 5 game changing categories of formative assessment that will transform how you understand your students' learning. From reimagined exit tickets that reveal confidence levels through emojis, to human bar graphs that literally show you where your class stands, to audio reflections that give you insight into student thought processes. The best part? These strategies don't create more grading, they create smarter teaching. Because the goal isn't to assess more, it's to assess more efficiently and responsively. So, whether you're sipping coffee on your summer break or already prepping for September, grab your planning materials and let's talk about how to turn assessment from a dreaded interruption into a natural, powerful part of learning. This is Schoolutions Teaching Strategies, the podcast that extends education beyond the classroom. A show that isn't just theory, but practical, try it tomorrow approaches for educators and caregivers to ensure every student finds their spark and receives the support they need to thrive. Welcome back to Schoolutions Teaching Strategies Summer Series. This is the podcast that helps educators innovate and inspire. I'm your host, Olivia Wall, and today we're diving into something that can transform your classroom this fall: formative assessment strategies that go way beyond the traditional quiz. Whether you're sipping coffee on your summer break or prepping lesson plans for September, this episode is packed with practical, ready to implement ideas that will give you real insight into student learning. Let's start with a reality check. How many times have you given a quiz, collected it, graded it over the weekend, and handed it back on Monday, only to realize half your students missed the same concept? By then, you've already moved on to new material, and that learning gap just got bigger. Traditional quizzes aren't inherently bad, but I see them as like taking a photograph when we really need a live video feed of student understanding. That's where innovative formative assessment comes in. These strategies help you check the pulse of learning in real time, adjust your teaching on the spot, and keep every student moving forward. A strategy that works for me time and time again: exit tickets. But let's reimagine the exit ticket. Instead of "what did you learn today?" you could try these game changers. If you're in a pinch for time, you could use the traffic light system. Students hold up red, yellow, or green cards as they leave. Red means I'm lost, yellow means I'm getting there, and green means I've got this. You can see your whole class's understanding at a glance. Obviously, that would take a really safe learning environment for kids to be vulnerable if they're feeling lost. You could try the 3-2-1 plus. Kids name 3 things they learned, 2 questions they have, 1 connection to previous learning, plus 1 emoji that represents how they feel about the topic. That emoji tells you everything about their confidence level. A third exit ticket strategy is the misconception check. Give students a common wrong answer and ask them to explain why it's incorrect. This reveals whether they truly understand or are just memorizing. Strategy 2, digital check ins that engage. Technology can make formative assessment both easier and more engaging. Here are 3 tools you can start using tomorrow. Padlet walls. Create a digital wall where students post quick reflections, questions, or examples. It's like having a classroom bulletin board that updates in real time. You can see patterns and understanding instantly. For this second strategy, I'll give a caveat up front. Most schools are going to bell bans, and so you wouldn't be able to use this, but you could still use this with adults. Poll Everywhere or Mentimeter are fabulous platforms because they let you ask questions and people can respond to the questions with their phones. They create these word clouds where people submit key terms from the session or a lesson or quick multiple choice questions, and it reveals misconceptions immediately or trends in how people are feeling. And the terms or words that are the most often typed in get bigger and bigger and bigger in the center. You can also use Flipgrid response videos. Students record 60-second videos explaining a concept in their own words. You will quickly be able to identify who's got it and who needs support. Plus, students love seeing themselves teach. Strategy 3, the power of peer assessment. Students can be incredible formative assessment partners when we structure it right. You could try Think, Pair, Share Plus. After thinking individually, students share with a partner, but here's the twist. The partner has to restate what they heard and identify one strength and one question. This helps active listening and it also reveals understanding gaps. You could try having students do gallery walks with feedback. Post student work around the room and have students rotate with sticky notes. They leave specific feedback using sentence starters like I notice or I wonder. And you could also try peer tutoring circles. Organize students into groups of 3 where each person explains a different part of the lesson to the others. If someone can't explain it clearly, they haven't mastered it yet. Strategy 4, quick check techniques. These take 30 seconds or less, but give you powerful data. Fist to 5 is when students hold up fingers showing their confidence level from 0, which would be a fist, to 5 with all fingers out. You can quickly scan the room and you know exactly who needs support. Again, that technique would take a lot of trust and safety for students to be honest and vulnerable about how they're feeling. You could also try a 1-minute paper. Set a timer and have students write continuously about the day's learning. You'll look for keywords, connections, and confusion patterns. You could even try a human bar graph. Call out different answer choices and have students move to different sides of the room. Then you can literally see where the class stands on understanding. And lastly, strategy 5, make assessment feel less like testing and more like learning. Try learning journals with prompts. Instead of generic reflection, give specific prompts like if you had to teach this to a younger student, what would you say? Or what's one thing that surprised you today? You could try sketch to stretch. Students draw their understanding, label key parts, and explain their thinking. This works especially well for students who struggle with traditional assessments. Audio reflections are amazing as well. With this technique, students record voice memos explaining their thinking. This is ideal for students who need to process verbally, and it also gives you insight into their thought processes. I know what you're thinking. This sounds great, but when do I have the time to review all this? Here's the secret. You don't need to collect everything. Sometimes just observing the process tells you what you need to know. Other times, focus on just a few students per day for deeper review. Make sure to create simple systems. Use the same exit ticket format for a week so students know the routine. Rotate through different digital tools so that you're not overwhelmed learning new technology. And remember, formative assessment should inform your next day's teaching, not create more grading. I'm going to say that one more time. Formative assessment should inform your next day's teaching, not create more grading. So, for example, going all the way back to when I was speaking to exit tickets, when I was recently in a coaching cycle with a teacher, we collected all the exit tickets, and within 1 minute, we read all the exit tickets, and she quickly placed them into piles of 3 or 4 patterns that she noticed. And then within each of those piles, we looked at, is this most students that need continued learning around this? Is it just some that could be a small group? Or is it a one-on-one conference that's needed? Exit tickets can be magical for quick assessment around what kids have in place and what they need next. So, as you're thinking about implementing these strategies, start small. Pick one technique that excites you and try it for a week. Notice what it tells you about student learning that you didn't know before. Then, gradually add more tools to your toolkit. You could consider creating a formative assessment menu for yourself. List 8 to 10 strategies you want to try and rotate through them so that your students experience variety while you build your confidence with different approaches. And please remember, the goal isn't to assess more, it's to assess more efficiently. These strategies I'm offering, they can help you catch learning gaps before they become chasms. They'll help you celebrate understanding when it happens and adjust your teaching to meet students exactly where they are. When September rolls around and you're using these techniques, you'll find yourself more responsive to students' needs. Your students will be more engaged in their own learning, and your teaching will be more effective because you're making decisions based on real-time data about student understanding. That's a wrap on today's tip episode. Try one new strategy this week and let me know how it goes. Remember, great teaching isn't about having all the answers. It's about asking the right questions and listening carefully to what students tell us about their learning. Until next time, keep innovating, keep inspiring, and keep putting students first. Take care. Schoolutions Teaching Strategies is created, produced, and edited by me, Olivia Wall. Thank you to my older son, Benjamin, who created the music playing in the background. You can follow and listen to Schoolutions wherever you get your podcasts, or subscribe to never miss an episode and watch on YouTube. Now I'd love to hear from you. Send me an email at schoolutionspodcast@gmail.com. Let me know which formative assessment techniques and strategies hit home with you today. What are you excited to try? Don't forget to tune in every Monday and Friday this summer for mini episodes filled with tips and ideas that will help you prepare for September while still resting and rejuvenating this summer. See you soon for another tip, and until then, enjoy the sunshine and take care.